nation of the Philippines, and we are bringing a legacy fight for the big debut. Few lighter weight fighters have been as successful as former UFC lightweight champion Frankie Edgar, and he works to punch his ticket to another title shot. But it won't be easy. Uriah Faber has never lost a non-title bout, and he hopes to keep that perfect streak alive tomorrow against Edgar. The Fox Sports 1 UFC Fight Night weigh-in show starts right now. Good morning, everyone. It is early evening in Manila, and yet we are still 2 hours away from the sunrise here in Los Angeles. I'm Karen Bryant. Happy to start my day alongside three of the very best. This man next to me, Kenny Florian. Next to him, we've got Sugar Rashad Evans, and on the end, the bantamweight king, TJ Dillashaw. TJ, you've got a fight coming up late July. How's the preparation going at this point?
It's going great. I just flew in from Denver, actually out training with Dwayne Ludwig, doing some altitude training. Just touched up on some tiny details that are going to push me through the fight, and just doing some technique and taking it easy right now. I still got a long time till the fight. All
right, it is July 25th, and of course that is on Fox. Can't wait. Well, tomorrow we're going to see a main event worth waking up early for. Fans have been asking to see Frankie Edgar and Uriah Faber share the octagon for years now. Kenny, it's finally happening.
This is a super fight I've been waiting for a very long time. And you look at what Frankie Edgar has done in the UFC. This guy is a sure bet to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. This is the former champion at 155 pounds, and at 145, he's looking unstoppable. You see what he did against BJ Penn, and of course against Cub Swanson, who was on the best streak of his career. This is a guy who's going out there beating guys and making it look easy.
Well, you know, he's going against my man, Uriah Faber. Uriah is one of the toughest guys in the UFC. I'm telling you right now, he hasn't held a belt here, but I'll tell you what, he comes and he brings a fight. Now he's up at 145 from 135, and look for Uriah to bring the fight at a higher pace because he doesn't have to worry about the weight cut. And this is where Uriah is most dangerous, where he's in a fight where, you know what, he can't lose, and he goes out there and he has fun and just lets it all hang out.
And of course, TJ, you know, Uriah is your training partner, the head of Team Alpha Male. How intense has it been at the headquarters lately?
You know, actually, he's kind of treating it just like every other fight. He's having fun with it. You know, he's joking around, kind of easy mood. You know, that's how he's so great. He just gets in there, performs, and has a good time.
And I think at 135, he always kind of had a little bit of trouble making that weight. At 145, he's going to have even more energy.
Have you noticed that? He feels just like a...
He
really
likes gaining weight.
Yeah,
he definitely likes gaining that weight. You know, it's a lot easier. I mean, he's a big 35-pounder. You know, he's a lot bigger than I am, and for him to go 45s, it's just been a lot. He's in a better mood, I can say.
Very good. All right, well, we're going to see it right now. We're going to send it down to the man calling all the action tomorrow. Here's Jonh standing by in the Philippines on the weigh-in stage.
What's up, Manila? Thank you all so much for coming out. This is the official weigh-in. Ariane Celeste is in the building. Red De La Cruz is with us. The best matchmaker in the world, Shawn Shelby, is here. How about a hand, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer, the All-American Brian Stann, and our general manager for UFC Asia is Ken Berger. All right, let's get this thing going, shall we? We begin with the UFC Fight Pass prelims. First up in the flyweight division, Nolan Tickman versus Yao the Conqueror Tukwe.
Tomorrow, two legendary fighters square off for the first time as Frankie Edgar takes on Uriah Faber. It's a special morning edition of UFC Fight Night tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
For Yao Tukwe. And his opponent is Nolan Tickman.
Tomorrow, the world's best drivers compete in a winner-take-all fight for $1 million. NASCAR's Sprint All-Star Race is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's all a part of 10 Days of Thunder, only on Fox Sports 1.
126 for Nolan Tickman. Versus Jonh, the Heat, Delos, Reyes.
Jonh Delos Reyes was born in Guam but spent most of his early life in the Philippines. He is currently riding a 2-fight losing streak, including a loss to Kyoji Haraguchi, but he believes fighting at home and getting a win is just what he needs to turn his UFC career around.
For Jonh Delos Reyes. And his opponent, please welcome Roldan Sangchong.
Roldan Sangchong will have the crowd behind him here in his home country of the Philippines. He actually started training back in 2007, started fighting in 2008, became a pro in 2012. He just received his bachelor's in hotel and restaurant management.
126 for the Executioner. All right, moving on now to the Fox Sports 1 UFC Fight Night prelims. First up, in the bantamweight division, Ying Smasher Guangyo versus Royston Reed.
Tomorrow, MLB returns with a doubleheader of division rivalries, starting with the Braves taking on the Marlins. Then the Pirates square off against the Cubs. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$137 for Royston Reed. He has 1 hour to cut the final pound. And his opponent, please welcome Ying Smasher Guangyo.
Wednesday, don't miss UFC Tonight as the best team of analysts in the sport break down all of this weekend's action. Plus, we welcome special guests Chris Weidman and Daniel Cormier to preview their respective bouts at UFC 187. UFC Tonight is Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$135 for Ying Guangyo. All right, our next prelim is in the welterweight division. Lee the Leech Jingliang versus Diego Lima.
Diego Lima started playing football his junior year of high school, and by his senior year, he was already the captain. That tells you how good of an athlete he was. Back then, he was 220 pounds. He followed in his brother's footsteps, and that's how he landed in MMA. He took this fight on just 1 month notice.
170 for Diego Lima. And his opponent, please welcome the Leech, Li Jingliang.
Li Jingliang may very well be the best fighter representing China right now, and he really has all the background to be very successful in the UFC. He comes from a wrestling background, also comes from a Sanda background as well, so he's a very good striker, but also possesses a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, which is very rare for that area.
Division, the Warrior Jonh versus Raging Cajun Johnson.
Cajun Johnson was thinking about calling it quits in the UFC after suffering 2 back-to-back knockout losses. Then after he found motivation with old friend training partner Rory McDonald. Now after training with the Red King, which nickname he gave Rory, he is refocused and set to change his fortunes in the UFC.
$155 for Cajun Johnson. And his opponent, the Warrior, Shawn Lipong.
Jonh Lipong is 25 years old, fighting out of Beijing, China. He started out as a track and field athlete, but he started training Sanda, and that's how he got into MMA. Now, Sanda is a little bit like Muay Thai with more grappling techniques. He's also the winner of the Ultimate Fighter China Season 1.
155 for Shawn Lipong. All right, now we get to our featured prelim, also in the lightweight division. The supernatural Tai Yong Bang versus Jonh Super Saiyan Tuck. First fighter to the scale is Jonh Tuck.
Remember scouting Jonh Tuck on the Ultimate Fighter, Cruise vs. Faber. Thought he could be one of our top picks. He's got an awesome ground game, a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, polished stand-up. I'm looking for big things from this kid.
$156 for Jonh Tuck. And his opponent, Tai Yong Bang.
The South Korean-born Taehyung Bong is a 25-fight veteran, and not only does he have a lot of experience, but he's faced a lot of high-level competition. He's actually faced Cajun Johnson, who is also on this card. He's also faced Takanori Gomi and Jorge Masvidal.
$156 for the Supernatural.
You can catch the next 12 fighters on tomorrow's main card, leading right up to our featherweight main event. Levon Makashvili and Mark Adiva next. Featherweight Makashvili up first.
First fighting to the scale, making his UFC debut, Levon Makashvili.
Makashvili is making his UFC debut, and you know what? He's a top prospect. You know, he fought in the tough East Regional Circuit, and when a guy fighting these tough circuits, it really helps him out when they come to UFC because they're not going to be baby when they get in UFC. They're going to come there, they're going to fight some top competition right away, and with the 145-pound weight class that's growing at such a high rate and getting to be one of the toughest weight classes, he's definitely going to have to be able to swim or drown.
145. 145 for Levon Makashvili. And his opponent representing Baguio City, please welcome Mark Adiva.
Wednesday, don't miss an all-new, hard-hitting episode of The Ultimate Fighter at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fox Sports 1.
Well, you can hear that big pop from the crowd for the Filipino Mark Adiva. He's only 6-1, but he's got a nice mix of KOs and submissions. He comes from a wushu background, very exciting and flashy striker.
145. 145 for Mark Adiva. All right, our next fight is also in the featherweight division. Felipe Supernova versus the Korean bulldozer, Uy Chul Na.
Sunday, the rising stars of NASCAR invade the plains for Xfinity Racing live from Iowa, with special guest Phil Parsons in the booth to call the action. Coverage starts at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
The Korean bulldozer making his featherweight debut. He's on a 5-fight win streak right now. A very exciting fighter. He's a black belt in Taekwondo and Judo as well, but I think he prefers the more of the sprawl and brawl technique. You know, very exciting fighter. Brings it all.
And he's protected from the germ. You see the mask.
Yeah, still has the mask.
Is that like a Mortal Kombat mask or is the germ?
I thought he was going to rob somebody. He's taking his time, too. Wow.
He's checking himself out. That's what he's doing.
A little bit of head games there, I think.
$146 for Uy Chul Na.
Got it.
Well, he sure is methodical.
Yeah.
And his opponent, please welcome back Felipe Nova.
Felipe Nova is a guy that I've trained with over at Renzo Gracie's in New York, and this is a guy who really has been working extremely hard to get back in the UFC. That has been his main focus for a long time, and this is a guy who is very talented. At one point was very high on the list of Dana White, obviously coming off The Ultimate Fighter, and I know that that man is very happy to be back in the UFC.
$145 for Felipe Nova.
Wasn't he even dubbed the Filipino GSP?
Yes, yes he was.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Going down.
All right, next up in the welterweight division, Shawn Lim versus Neil Magny. First fighter to the scale, currently ranked number 15 in the world, Neil Magny.
Neil Magny fell into fighting when he got a gym membership. Actually, Miguel Torres had rented out the corner of the gym. He saw him doing his thing and he said, hey, I want to do that. The Army National Guard sergeant is looking for his 7th straight win here in Manila. $171
171 for Neil Magny. And his opponent, please welcome the ace, Shawn Lim.
Lim, man, he's a very big welterweight, vicious on his feet with lots of power in his hands. You know this, he's got 10 wins by KOs, won 8 of his last 9 fights. The one loss coming from Faber. Excellent fight.
He's got that awkward style where Taekwondo, and he's got that southpaw stance, and it just really rangy and knows how to use it really well.
But he's the first time he's gonna fight someone with the same reach as him, pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
171. 171 for Shawn Lim.
Guy really proved his heart in that fight against Eryk.
Oh, man, I couldn't believe
what
that
a fight.
That was a great fight.
But I've watched Neil Magny now train while I've been out in Denver, and this guy's got some heart. He's been training hard.
He's a stud, man, on a great win streak right now, too. Could be fight of the night right here.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
All right, moving on now to a feature bout in the middleweight division. The Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz, versus Luke Big Slow Barnett.
Luke Barnett is 6'6" tall. This was the first pick of Chael Sonnen when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, and his nickname is Big Slow, and it's not because of the way he fights. It's because apparently he's kind of slow to get an insult or a joke. So his teammates, and they were making fun of him, you know, they called him Big Slow because of that. Pretty funny.
$185 for Luke Barnett. And his opponent is the Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz.
And former D1 NCAA wrestling champion and was my wrestling coach while I attended Cal State Fullerton. Munoz is coming off a 3-fight consecutive loss, and he's announcing his retirement after this fight. So I'm expecting to see a very motivated and dangerous Mark Munoz. Nothing to lose in this fight, and I know he's excited to fight in the Philippines. Hence, the Filipino. I like to call him the wrecking machino.
I like
rhymes
that.
a little better. You know, I've been trying to tell him to change it, but he doesn't do it.
186 for the Filipino wrecking machine.
Shino.
Yeah.
He definitely looks good, though.
Close well.
Yeah.
I like it.
But as you said, this is a fun fight. I mean, it's your last fight. Go out there in front of your, you know, your home country and just lay it all out on the line.
Put a stamp on your career.
That's it. I think he's giving it a little insight of what he's going to do to
Yeah.
shoot underneath.
Yeah, there's no guessing. You know.
All right, that brings us to the co-main event. Gegard, the dream catcher, Mousasi versus Costas Philippou. First fighter to the scale, please welcome Costas Philippou.
Costas is definitely one of the tougher guys in his weight class, you know, and this is a huge fight for him. You know, when you're in this position as number 12, you want to move up, and you got to beat a guy like Gegard to really put your stamp to show that, you know what, you're just not a tough out, but you're definitely a contender, and he has the power to do so.
Yeah, very strong boxer. But, you know, Gegard's been in the game a little bit, so he's got a pretty tough task ahead of him.
186 for Costas Philippou. And his opponent is the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion, Gegard Mousasi.
Gegard Mousasi, this is a guy who has over a dozen fights in boxing, almost 10 fights in kickboxing, and 43 fights in MMA, and I just love the way that this guy fights. Really like a chameleon out there. You never know what kind of style you're going to see from Mousasi. He can adapt and evolve with anyone in the cage. One of my favorite fighters.
185.
Yeah, Kenny, I've known Gegard for several years now, and I agree with you. Just a likable guy, but just fun to watch.
Absolutely. Fought all the way from heavyweight to middleweight.
The best thing about Gegard is his his demeanor. He never seems excited about nothing. He's just even keel no matter what, man.
Yeah, well, that's great, though. You don't stress out in the cage. You don't worry about things. You don't get overexcited.
Very stoic.
Very.
All right, now it's time to take a closer look at two mixed martial arts superstars. They will share the marquee tomorrow night in our 5-round featherweight main event. Take a look.
When I got into the sport, I didn't want to just be a guy that's just said he made it to the UFC or hung in the UFC and competed. I wanted to say I was the best that ever did it, you know? That's what motivates me every day.
I'm a guy that's been a world champion. I've fought the top in the world. I beat, former champions. I've beat future champions. I'm a finisher.
The California kid stands him up and sits him down.
When you look at the style of Frankie Edgar and you look at the style of Uriah Faber, I predicted this would be an incredibly fast-paced and a very highly skilled fight. Both guys have outstanding striking. Both guys have excellent footwork. Both guys have very good submissions.
Two former champions going at it. If this isn't a super fight, I don't know what is.
I can't wait for this battle with Frankie Edgar, and I've been training my whole life for a fight like this.
To me, it's like, Leonard and Hearns, going at it back in the day, some of the best lightweights ever.
The winner of this fight will be positioned, perhaps challenged for the title.
But I don't know if he's fought anybody like me. My confidence is at an all-time high. I'm someone that's dangerous.
I want to go in there and dominate, I don't want it to be a close fight. My foot's going to be on the gas pedal, and I got a heavy foot.
I love the challenge. I love the opponent. It's going to be a battle.
First fighter to the scale, the former WEC
The California kid, or as we call him, the general at Team Alpha Male. Been looking great at this weight, man. He hasn't fought featherweight for 5 years, but I think he's lacking being able to stack the weight on. He's super confident and pumped for this fight. He's been wanting to fight Frankie Edgar for a long time. I think the fans have been wanting to see it, and now we finally get to see it.
146. 146 for
TJ, the king of No Shirt Nation over there. This tan it's probably the best tan I've ever seen Uriah.
He's been working on it. He's been in the Philippines the last 5 days. I'm sure he's been tanning every single day he's been there. I mean, actually, I know he is.
I know you guys take that seriously.
Oh, absolutely. You got to look good in the cage to perform well.
UFC lightweight champion, Frankie the Answer Edgar.
Frankie Edgar, one of my greatest things in my life is the fact that I got to train with Frankie. And you know what? I tell you what, this guy right here is one of the hardest working fighters I ever trained alongside with. He's the kind of guy who goes into the gym, stays in the gym, last one in the gym, and just really, really just goes all out every single time he's in the gym.
146. 146 for Frankie Edgar.
But it's just a mindset that he has. He doesn't stop. He always wants to get better, and he's steadily improving every single day. And that's one thing that I look up to this guy. He's one of my favorite fighters. When I want to practice my technique, I look a lot at what Frankie does.
All right, folks, that's it for the weigh-in. Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you very much, Jonh. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Guys, of course, we're all done with the scale, and we are a go for the second coming of the Thrilla in Manila. We're only a few months shy of the 40th anniversary of that fight. And TJ, want to know what you think about this. Certainly you get a different perspective here sitting in these seats. You're probably less hungry. Yeah. What's your takeaway here?
Yeah, I'm real happy I'm not on the scale right now. I'm a lot heavier than I would be if I was. It's a lot nicer to be able to talk about it instead of having the nerves and getting ready for the next day.
It's exciting, man. I'm excited to see Faber and Uriah go at it. I mean, these two guys are just monsters in the division, and see them going head-to-head like Frankie was saying.